Awesome, awesome. So as people are joining in, guys, make sure that you tune in till the end because we're going to be talking about some of the very important aspects, which is how to sell better. We're going to be making sure that you learn about these things because you can do all the branding, you can do all the marketing in the end, but if you do not have the cash in the bank and if you do not sell in the end, you have done nothing, right? You gotta run your home. You gotta go and buy uh, those food. And in order to do that, you gotta focus on sales. And that's something that we're gonna be talking about today is how to work on sales, how to improve your sales. And we're gonna be diving deep into some of the deepest strategies that we personally use ourselves. And Mr. Subhanjan has been in the industry for almost, I think, 35, 40 years. Even before I was actually born, he's been into sales. So it's always great and pleasure to speak with him and learn from every single thing that he always shares. And in this session as well, we're going to be talking a lot of things about sales and strategies. And we do want you to learn about these strategies because it's going to be very hard for you to get a hold of him and get out all of these information that we're trying our best to get out these information from him and share it with you guys. So, Mr. Subhanjan, if you can, if people who don't know you, who are seeing you for the first time, if you can just take a couple of minutes and introduce yourself, that would be fantastic.
Well, guys, welcome to this webinar. Thank you for taking your time in the morning or midday, evening, or night, as it is in India where I am. Thank you for making time. It's always a pleasure to talk to this group, and this has been a really a fun journey for me uh, with Udit and his team, Oscar, and lot of able people who have helped us bring this to you, and fantastic response from you guys, which is again very heartening. It is not only that people have bought our lifetime deal, but they're actually using it. They're talking to us every day. They're figuring things out. The involvement level is incredible. So thank you for that. I have been primarily in. Udit, you wanted me to talk about my background. Is that it?
Yeah, sure, we can make it quick. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have been primarily in the cusp of technology and media all my life. Uh, I launched the first technology show on television in India way back in 1996. So that's sort of a dead giveaway to how old I am. I launched the second technology channel out of India in the world. That is, I've done some work around that. I've done a lot of television in my lifetime. I've done a primetime show on CNBC, and since 2008, I have been developing products. Before Pitch.Link, I built a product, a multilingual visual training platform called Knowledge Bridge. I have uh, three patents for the technologies I developed, three US patents. And one of the realizations while I was building that platform, and even earlier when I was running the channel and running my show and so on, uh, was that sales was really difficult. I mean, there is a sort of a notion that somebody who cannot get into anything gets into sales, as if sales is something which is very easy. Anybody can walk in and become a salesperson. I think nothing is further from truth. uh, the reason possibly that notion sort of evolved is because there was never any clear cut qualification. Like for engineering, to become engineer you have to go and take an engineering degree, you have to go through a 5-year course and so on. To become a doctor you have to do a 7-year course and to do 3 years of internship and so on and so forth. There was nothing sort of structured for sales. So because of that, the notion was, oh, anybody, any Tom Dick, if you fail at everything you can go and become a salesman. I mean, that is utter rubbish. I think sales is a very difficult job. Although we are all selling, that's the flip side of it. We are all selling. If you're telling your parents that I want to do this course or I want to buy this cycle, or you're telling your child that you cannot do this, you need to do that, every transaction is a sale. It's a selling of an idea, selling of a belief, selling of faith. We are all selling. However, if we really think of how many times you're able to actually convince someone, your child may just agree with you because he or she knows that, okay, I'll get a thrashing or I'll not get to go out and play and so on, so maybe I'll toe the line. But really, somebody understanding your point of view and buying in is a difficult task. So that was a realization I was having, that I mean, I can't sell, honestly. I mean, you guys are far better than that. And my thought was, how can we make this process easier? And what was going on? What is really going on? Why is sales so difficult? So what came out is that typically all of us who are selling, we believe that we can go out and sell anything to anyone. So all those ideas about selling sand to Arab and ice to Eskimo, all those cliched thoughts, you know, uh, eh, those actually have sort of skewed our idea about how we sell. Because why should you sell ice to an Eskimo? He has plenty of it. Why would you sell something? For example, it's my selling my tool to you where you have no use of it. I would honestly, I mean, I know Udit will agree with me, although he wants and I want that thousands of people use Pitch.Link. I would tell you that if you really don't find value, don't buy it. Be in the webinar, enjoy our discussion, that's fine. Don't buy it if you don't see actually that you'll get value out of it. Why should you buy it? And why should I want you to buy it? I would really want you, like I said, I mean, the biggest joy of my being on this journey with Udit and Pitchground was that I have involved folks talking to me. I don't mind someone coming and telling me, this is rubbish, because he's involved, he's telling me. Who tells you that you are rubbish? Somebody who is interested in you. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about me. Nobody cares about Pitchground. Nobody cares about Pitch.Link. Nobody gives a damn. I may think it's very important. I've spent 3 years of my life building it. It's important to me, not to you. But if you come to a webinar where I'm talking and I'm trying to show my product, I'm very grateful. And if in that you see, okay, there is a sliver of usage, a possibility, I can make good use of it, I'll be very glad. Today somebody wrote to me who had taken a demo from me. He's already bought the product, taken a demo from me like 2 weeks back. And then he wrote to me, hey, I'm connecting Greg, and he forgot to actually mark Greg. And I said, hey Ed, you forgot to mark Greg. And then he writes back and I said, look, whatever you need, I want you to succeed with my product. I want you to succeed. Otherwise, there's no need. No need. I don't need your $300. Trust me. And you don't need to give me your $300. Right? So I'm really, really thankful that you guys are here. And without sort of expanding this horizon, the crux of it, and I'll walk you through it in my presentation in the next 10 minutes, that fundamentally there has been a shift. The shift is that the buyer is in charge of this process. You are in charge of this process. I'm not in charge of this process. I can only tell you my story. And if the story resonates with you, you will engage with me. If you don't engage with me, I don't get the opportunity to show you my product or to demonstrate what it can do for you and show you the value that it has.
Awesome, Mr. Subhanjan. So I do have one question before we get started with a presentation. Which has been like the most annoying lead for you that you have ever closed in your life, which has been the most difficult, the most annoying, and what is that one experience you've gotten out of it, like that pleasure of I've closed in, like what was that feeling and what did you do? Like, can you share that with
Sure. That'd be
everyone?
great. So this is one of the top 5 industrial houses in India. And I have been talking to the team. This is for my multilingual visual training platform. And I have been talking to the team for 6 months. And this is the final negotiation. I think the deal is closed. I think it is done. We are going to sign on some paper. But in walks a gentleman, and everybody else walks out. And this gentleman is their head of procurement. He had not been in the scene. All this while it was being tested by the end users, the owner of that group, and so on, right? So the head of HR and all the end users, the training heads and all that. Ours is a visual learning platform, right? So the procurement gentleman came and said, why is this priced like this? I said, it's a product and it is priced like this. No, see, we make cars. So I'm not telling. So now you can sort of narrow it down to three groups in this country. We make cars. I buy coal. I buy steel. I buy iron. I buy this. I buy that. I know exactly how they're priced and how much margin I'm going to give. You tell me how you priced it and you break it up and tell me. At that moment, I was I was totally frustrated. Trust me, this is after 6 months when I'm thinking I want to sign the deal. The deal is done. We have actually spoken price, we have actually shown the ROI, and all of that is over. This gentleman, he never met me. He's a new guy, and he's the head of procurement. His job, in his mind, was to ensure that the way he buys coal, he's going to buy a digital product
Hmm.
which is going to be used by 10,000 employees of his. Okay, it's very frustrating. I mean, I don't even have an answer. I don't even know how to tell him that this is not coal. I mean, he just doesn't know, and I cannot for a moment assume that he doesn't know, and I can tell him that. I can't do
Do you
that.
think if do you think if you had Pitch.Link during those days, it might have helped to close him quicker?
Many ways, absolutely, because the data that has been shared, there was no visibility who has seen what. For me, I would
Right,
have I would have been able to interact with everybody, and I would have been able to see their questions. They would have been able to
right,
see. He was also not part of all those discussions that have happened in the past. So if he was just part
right,
of the Pitch.Link pitch, he would have seen. He
right.
need not have participated, but he would have seen all the logic, all the breakups, everything uh, earlier. So that's a good point. Just to wrap it up, what I did was I said, okay, what I'll do is I'll step out and I'll explain to you how software is built, and then I'll explain to you how this price has come as a derivative. It will take us 1.5 hours, so please give me that time. And to his credit, this is a guy who is possibly writing purchase orders for tens of crores every day, right?
Wow, nice.
Right? He's that level. He's the top guy in the procurement. So he said,
Would
yeah,
be
Subhajan,
awesome.
I also want to understand because I
Would
really
be
don't
awesome to
understand how
get
this
those
works.
checks.
And I said,
Would be
I'm going to do
awesome
a
to get
master
those
class
checks.
with you. I told him I'm going to do a
Right,
master class with you. I'm going to educate you about how software works. So in future, you will be in a very good position, but you have to give me 1.5 hours. You have to promise there will be no call, no this, no mobile, nothing. I'm keeping my mobile off you. And I spent 1.5 hours explaining to him how you develop code and how the testing happens and how all that. And end of it,
right,
he still negotiated me down 5%. I had to give it to him because he had his value, right?
right.
But we got the deal. That's my story.
That's awesome. And the feeling after that,
It was awesome. It was awesome. It was many years back, and any deal which when you actually sign it and close it, and by the way, I didn't close the deal. He closed the deal. I,
right.
I realized that I don't close the deal. No salesman ever closes a deal. Every deal is closed by the buyer. Believe it or not,
No, definitely, definitely. Look, they are everything. They are
right?
100% in charge of either saying yes or no, right? But you as a company, right? You need to make sure that you keep doing your part of the job. That's really required, which is that following up, which is making sure that things are fine. Because that's something that's very important. That there's so much human elements that's involved in sales that you literally cannot automate those sort of a process. No matter how much of an automation world that we live in, there has to be some human interaction, especially when you're selling like $1,000 product, $20,000 product. I'm not going to go into like $1 million deals right now, right? But if you are selling those $50,000 a year product, there has to be a human intervention. I have never seen someone signing up for $15,000 just going on the website, signing up, clicking, and entering the credit card and paying $60,000. That's never going to happen. Even if people think that's going to happen, that's just not practical, right? And that's when
Absolutely.
people actually take payment. That's actually a good thing because you know that okay, if this person is ready to shell out $50,000, whether this is actually a right fit for me as a customer or not, and whether you will be able to deliver the value of $50,000 worth of not. And if so, then you can be very upfront with the potential lead. That always helps. So without wasting further time, Mr. Subhanjan, let's dive right into it with regards to the presentation. If you can just share your screen, that would be awesome. Guys, make sure to
Yes,
stick around because there's going to be a ton of value in this presentation. I can assure you, and some incredible strategies that we'll be sharing down the road, and then we'll be taking up all your questions. Meanwhile, if you have any sales related questions, start dropping your comments in, and we will be taking them at the very end.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So welcome to this session on goodbye selling and hello buying. How to thrive in a buyer-led world. So the first point is that the process, the value transaction process, uh, which is between a buyer and a seller. So it is actually two processes, right? The buyer, it's the buying process. For the seller, it's the selling process. We typically refer to it as selling, and that sort of dominated the narrative the last 50 years. But it is changing, and I'll show you quickly. I'll run you through this in the next 10-12 minutes. The narrative has shifted 180 degrees, and it is really a buyer-led buying process. So increasingly over the next, say, 5-7 years, you will see the reference to selling actually turning to a reference of buying. So this is the gist of what we are going to talk about today, right? I hope you're able to see the screen. So first, the buyer has changed. Only 17% of the time the buyer will talk to a salesperson. This is Gartner data. If you want, I can share with you the links. This is out of the Gartner CSO report. Okay. Uh, so, so imagine that in the entire time the buyer is spending buying, only 17% of the time he will speak with the salesperson. So if you are getting a chance to speak with a buyer before he has arrived at his buying decision, you are actually in that 17% window, which is great. I mean, and kudos to you, but it's very, very difficult to get that slot. So if your selling is dependent upon getting a face-to-face with your buyer, you are stumped right there. The second point is buyers are not buying interruption anymore. So typical sales has been, the traditional sales has been that I need to interrupt your day through a cold call, cold mail, cold visit, and so on to be able to tell you my story. The buyers are not buying interruption anymore. Down the presentation, I'll share some data, some quick data. I mean, this is really very short and brief. Buyers are resisting interruption, which is why cold call rates are down, cold email click-through rates are down. You know how many times you would allow somebody to make a cold call to you and you will take it and say, hey, I want to sell you some mutual fund, or hey, I want to sell you A, B, C, D, and how many times you actually entertain that yourself. And if you just extrapolate that to the entire world, you will see what I mean. What we used to do 20 years back, any phone coming was a great thing. Somebody called, somebody has something to say. It was great to listen to a stranger and talk to a stranger. Not anymore. Not anymore. Privacy of the user, it is at the core of this product. That's the other thing. Since the Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal happened, 50 million, 80 million data points, 80 million people and their private data was compromised, right? It's not a small amount. That triggered GDPR, the European Union's privacy laws. That sort of took to CCPA, which is the California state's law, and a whole host of others. Practically every nation in the world are working, either already the laws are out or are working. They are going to ensure that privacy is protected. Buyers are demanding privacy. Unfortunately, 90% of the sales tools promise us analytics, and they have sort of sold this idea that somebody looking at a slide number 3 for 30 seconds and that data is very important to you. They've sold this idea. It was nice. It was quite novel 5, 7, 8 years back when we first started doing it, when we first learned how to insert a pixel and so on and so forth. But believe me, data is showing that 90% of buying decisions, those inputs have no value. And again, you can check it with your own experience. How much of those data, the analytics that is done surreptitiously without the buyer's consent, is actually converting into sales? So privacy is a very, very big critical component. And on Pitch.Link, and this is sort of sounds contrarian to you, and a lot of people I have discussed with feels it is contrarian, but when you go down and actually analyze the data, you'll see the point I'm making. It is going to be illegal. It's already illegal in Europe, already illegal in most of America. In Canada, it's already illegal. Some states it still maybe under works, but you need, as a salesperson, I would like to wean myself away from vanity metrics of who has watched my video 2 minutes out of 3 minutes, and who has looked at a particular page 20 seconds more, and so on. I don't think that really ensures the sale at all. What ensures a sale is at the end of your pitch, the customer turning around and engaging with you. Pitch.Link cares for the buyer's privacy. It's the highest, which means that if the buyer doesn't give explicit permission, I want Subhanjan to see my interaction. If the buyer doesn't give me that explicit permission, I cannot see any interaction. But if the buyer has any interest in what I am saying, he is going to start engaging. So what we have done, we have taken out all the friction of getting a face-to-face meeting, not required. You send the pitch link with your entire narrative, with your own video, your own voice, line them up exactly like a playlist, like you do in a face-to-face. Send it to your prospect when he can click on it and see it when he has the time, not because we had a appointment and he has to sort of attend to it as a professional, but he may be having some fire burning and his mind is right there. You give him the freedom to look at it when he has the mind space, and he is going to come back to you if you make any sense to him. Third, we are addressing a huge market, sales engagement. In fact, there's a slide I'll show, and Aragon Research, which works on this. It has predicted that by 2023, sales engagement, not enablement, engagement is between buyer and seller. Enablement is only for the seller. Engagement is going to be more than $5 billion industry. So if you are an agency, if you are working with customers, you are in a good place if you are using sales engagement tools. The last 2 points is that Pitch.Link has been built with user feedback and tested extensively. We have been building it over nearly 3 years, and we have, before we came for this lifetime deal, we had 220 companies all over the world, 60% of them in North America, who have been using it. And the last point here is that we are set to create a new category for asynchronous buying and selling. We don't really fit into most of the existing categories of tools. That's a good thing and a bad thing. The bad thing is that why nobody has built this. Maybe it's a stupid idea, or we are possibly doing something path-breaking. So quickly, I'll touch upon the 3 points I already said. The buyer has changed. The information asymmetry has turned 180 degrees from supply to demand, making it a buyer-led world. Buyers today want zero interruption and asynchronous communication. They don't want to do face-to-face. They resist the... By the way, face-to-face will happen. If they have bought into the idea, if they're interested in what we have to, they will then initiate the meeting, which will be far simpler than Chorus.ai's research report, which said that a regular SDR has to make 106 calls to set a meeting. Just remember this, 106 calls to set a meeting. What if the buyer had to set a meeting? That would have been instantaneous, right? That's the idea, that we give enough to the buyer, give him enough social proof, give him enough proof of ROI, give him enough data that he will turn around and say, Subhanjan, when can we talk? Until then, we should take out all the friction that is required to continuously engage and give him whatever he's looking for. And the last point, which I sort of spoke about, is the fact that we are in a permission, privacy, and ethical analytics era. So you may be wondering, okay, is this something we have sort of invented and we have got this great vision that it's a buyer-led world? The answer is no. This whole thing started way back in 1997. Marie Alexander, she created the first customer success department for a software company called Vantive, which is not there anymore. The first customer success. So why customer success? Because that's when some of the people who were forward looking, they figured that this shift has started and I need to focus on my customer and what he's getting out of the product he's buying and ensure that he gets it than otherwise. 1999, two major pieces of work. Clue Trend Manifesto. It outlines the beginning of the shift to the buyer. Please, if you have not read it, I mentioned it in the earlier webinars, please read it. And also Seth Godin's permission marketing. He's squarely focused that you cannot push through messages without permission anymore. That's the time, around the time when TiVo came in the US, where you could record your television programs and zap the ads. So you cannot push in an ad, you cannot push in a message, a commercial without permission anymore. I'll zap it. ITSMA, the premier organization, they first moved the idea of account-based marketing, 2004. It's not demand-based, it's not terminus. ITSMA first spoke about account-based marketing, 2004. 2006, HubSpot unveils inbound marketing. This is when inbound marketing came, that I think was one of the key points when the shift to the buyer and the buyer intent became absolutely central to the selling process. And HubSpot's own, it's a unicorn, several $100 million revenue. It completely proves the point. 2008, Doc Searles started Project VRM. VRM was Doc Searles' idea of the counter to CRM. So it's vendor relationship management. And he launched this at the Harvard University's Berkman Center for Internet and Society. And he did a lot of work there. And not only that, he also wrote a seminal book on this idea called Intention Economy in 2012. So if you can get your hands on that, please do read the book. It will give you an idea how the shifts are happening and why a lot of the things that we do traditionally in selling is ineffective. I'm not saying it's zero. Nothing is zero. Still, you may find some Arab to whom you can sell some sand, but he may be living somewhere else, for all you know. But it will give you a clear picture of how the shift is taking place. And of course, between 2011 and 2015, account-based marketing and customer success practices, they go mainstream. That's when all your other companies who talk about these very effectively came into being. So essentially, Pitch.Link is built for selling in this shifted landscape. And what sort of clearly defines this landscape is the question we ask. 90, I say 90 because I don't want to say 99, I don't want to say 100. 90% of the sales tools that we use, they start with the question, how can we make selling easy? Unfortunately, now that's the wrong question to answer. So if you answer the wrong question, no matter how correct that answer is, the answer will still be wrong, right? So the right question to ask today in the buyer-led world is that how can we make buying easy? How can we take out the friction that my buyer is facing? How can we help him manage the change inside his organization that is required? In one of the webinars, the links are all available on the PitchGround page. You can go and check. I mentioned Sharon Drew Morgan's 13-step framework for the buying process, right? So a buyer goes through 13 steps before he actually makes the purchase, and the vendor comes in between the 10th and the 11th step. Sometimes the 10th, sometimes the 11th step. The previous 9 steps, the vendors don't exist. It's all happening internally. So how can we help the buyer to manage their internal? What kind of relationship should I cultivate so that I will be privy to the fact and I'll be able to give him or her the support and the data and the information that will help them convince and sort of get all the stakeholders on board to change. Make no mistake, before anybody buys a product, before you buy Pitch.Link, you are going to see what else you can use which you already have to do the same job. I will do the same thing. Only when you are sure that what I give you, you cannot accomplish with anything else. Otherwise, I'm in a commodities business. Don't buy that CRM, buy my CRM. My price is less, or I give you this thing more. It's a very commoditized thing. Otherwise, I have to give you a completely differentiated product. That's the crux. Pitch.Link is built ground up, providing complete privacy and control to the buyer interaction and data of the buyer. It facilitates secured conversation between the buyer and seller, the buyer side team, and the stakeholders, and the seller side team members. So essentially in Pitch.Link, there are 3 parallel conversation possibilities. One is between the buyer and the seller, which is the crux. Then the entire buyer team can be discussing amongst themselves without the sellers having any clue. Right on the same link, same platform. The seller will never see it. Amongst themselves, okay, this is what he has proposed, this is what they have told, this is the technical specifications they've given, so on and so forth. And similarly, the seller team can be discussing on their own. Okay, the buyer is asking this, the buyer has asked for this data, the buyer has said, can we sort of integrate it with their current tech stack, and so on. That's also not visible to the buyer. Only thing that is visible to both is the buyer-seller interaction. The buyer sees 2 things, their own team and the seller. Seller sees 2 things, own team and the buyer. That's it. And obviously Pitch.Link, and thus Pitch.Link enables collaboration between marketing and sales departments in the vendor companies and between all the stakeholders in the buyer company. And it makes sharing, managing collaterals very simple, even simpler than Google Drive or Dropbox. I told you that I'll show you some data. You can just take it in. This is the cost of interruption. The state of traditional sales tools. Email open rate is down. Telemarketing response rate is down. It takes 8 calls before a prospect responds. And this may be somebody 3 steps removed from the actual person. Telemarketing failure rate is 98%. These are not my data. These are all data from various researchers. And cost of interruption has been calculated. SMBs in the US lose 0.5 billion a year by handling unwanted calls. Only unwanted calls. We are not talking about anything else. This is 2 sets of statistics. What's happening with the buyer? What is happening with the seller? 53 of the buyer's journey, it takes longer today, 53%. At least 7 decision makers involved. And it's 22% longer sales cycle, right? In the buyer side, B2B buyers use 6 channels to communicate. They're communicating between 6 channels. So what does that mean? Imagine how hard it is to manage a mail thread, messaging on WhatsApp or on phone calls, collaterals, social, some messages on LinkedIn, just managing them in a single dashboard. There's no single dashboard. It's all over the place. Always things are falling between the cracks. That's a big problem. And Pitch.Link practically solves it. 65% frustrated by the inconsistencies in communication. And the buyer is saying 77% state their latest purchase was complex and difficult. Difficult because of their internal process, difficult because if they're talking to 5 vendors at the same time, multiple channels. So 7 into 6, just imagine how messy that is. I wish I could show you the Gartner buyer journey map. It's not in this presentation, but if you check out the other webinars, I have presented that earlier. This I told already. There is a small demo, but I'll skip it for now because I think I've already taken more time than I had promised. These are quick feedback from our customers. This is a very high-tech company selling data analytics and data analysis to customers who have large data sets. And they have seen, so it's a very high-tech, very complex product. And they have seen engagement increase by over 20%. Once engagement increases, it converts. It goes to, so conversation will lead to conversion. This is one of our customers who bought the LTD on PitchGround. And one of the things he said, in fact, I shared his story, the video in the PitchGround channel. You can take a look at it at some point. And he says that this is possibly the only tool that helps and enables us to sell without interruption. I don't know if John is there in the audience. It's pretty late for him actually. But yeah, this is what he said, and you can check the video. It's there. This is again, it's like a Shopify kind of platform. It's an e-commerce enabler, and they have seen, and they sell to not only shops, like offline shops going online. They also sell to associations. For example, association of silk product manufacturers. So all their members, so they create sort of curated marketplaces for them on their platform. They've seen increased conversion of about 8% on the using Pitch.Link. This is the data I said I'll share. This is the Aragon Research CEO Jim Lundy, who says that Aragon expects the worldwide sales engagement platform market to grow from US 1.757 billion to 5.59 billion 2023, which is, so the point was not to say that it's a large market, but I'm saying that engagement, sales engagement, is going to be a big factor in the coming days. Thank you very much. Udit, you are mute. You're mute, Udit.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was embarrassing. I think you can hear me again. Awesome. I'm back, guys. I hope you guys didn't miss me. So before we start taking up some questions, Mr. Subhanjan, why don't we dive right into Pitch.Link and share those incredibly beautiful looking pictures that you've already created and sort of show them what kind of experience their leads can have.
Okay, just give me a minute and I will sort of switch.
You can take 2 minutes. That's fine. Meanwhile, guys, if you have any questions around sales, please drop them in. If you don't have any questions, then I'm already assuming that you guys are banking in $10,000 a day in sales. So if you are, then please do let us know. We would be happy to get you on the webinar. But if you aren't, then please make sure that you ask your questions. That's very important. Let's make this more interactive, because if you are spending your time an hour, 2 hour on this webinar, staying up there, make sure that you get the best out of the webinar. If you are lacking any strategies, right, ask us, because we keep testing out so many different strategies. As Mr. Subhanjan or myself, we speak with so many people on everyday basis that at times we make our pitches on the spot. We modify pitches on the spot, because especially with Mr. Subhanjan, since he has been in the industry for so very long, he can really understand someone, whether that person is going to buy or not, just by having the first interaction, and whether he should be pursuing that person or not, right? Try to get those experiences out of him, and you can only do that by asking questions. So start dropping your questions if you really want to get the best out of him, because I'm going to try and make sure that I'm going to squeeze all of these information out of him for you guys, but I cannot go inside your mind and get the answers for you. So make sure that you drop in those questions. Mr. Subhanjan, are you ready to share your screen?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Can you see it?
Yep, just a second, and there we go. So I'm gonna disappear once again for a moment. Meanwhile, guys, this is something that your users could potentially see, and this is a brand new way of really pitching things to your users, and you would absolutely love it. So, Mr. Subhanjan, the screen is all yours. Let's take in 10 minutes and quickly show the screen so that people can really
Sure.
understand what the product is all about and what the hype is all about Pitch.Link.
Yeah, sure. So guys, uh, this is a pitch which you have sent to the buyer, and the buyer has clicked your link. So if you want to see how the link looks like, uh, uh, so you can see it here. This is the link that would have come to you from in the mail that brought the message and the link to you, right? Uh, this is the first screen they will see, which basically tells them what they can do here. They can control their privacy settings, view and converts, and invite their team. So you close that. This is the first privacy setting. As I said, it's upfront. By the way, when you click read more, we actually tell them why they should give the privacy, why they should give the permission. However, we also believe that the privacy is a choice. So they should have the opportunity to opt in and not opt out. I close that. So this is the pitch. So this is the interface that the buyer will see. This is the buyer's control panel. Whatever he does from here, share, chat, looking at resource and analytics, it's all his internal. This is chat with his team. So if I click on this, the chat opens. It shows clearly chatting with my team. It's on element 1 of 11 elements. I'll show you how that works. So you can see this one, which is highlighted, introduction to pitch grounders, which is my basic introduction, which I've sent in this pitch, and I click on chat. The chat is about this video or this audio or this PowerPoint, whatever are the elements here. These are the actual original files that I've lined up as a narrative, and I've used audio, video, etc. to link them together, to give an introduction to each, and so on. And end of it, I have a feedback form. So this is something which people originally thought that if I'm not doing a face-to-face meeting, how do I get feedback from the customer? Actually, when the pitch ends, if it is an audio or video, this form will load automatically, and this is how it looks. It can be
So,
anything. You can use that form.
Mr. Subhanjan, I'm going to interrupt you over here. So, I'm a very cheap person. I don't like spending money, right? And I'm going to do my best to save money. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create like those dirty, cheap PDFs, and I'm going to send it across to the user, right? Why do I need to use Pitch.Link, first of all, if I can just do some of these things with a PDF? Like, okay, I don't want fancy video, right? But I can just get the job done using a PDF. Why do you want me to even use Pitch.Link in the first place, right?
Very good question. And how is it working out for you, sending the dirty PDF?
It's working out decent so far, I would say. Not that
Exactly.
great, but it
No,
does
no.
work out.
So the issue is with it. Why will you buy a Mercedes when you can do the same distance in a Alto or
Right,
a cheap car, right?
right.
Uh, so so the point is that if there is a very simple commoditized product, suppose you are selling something which can be bought from the neighborhood store, a PDF should do, because there is nothing for you to convince. I'm selling sugar, I'm selling it 10 rupees cheaper, or 50 cents cheaper. People will buy. You don't need anything. You don't need Pitch.Link for that. But if you are selling a complex software, a PDF is not going to cut it. You cannot
I
explain it,
completely agree with you.
right? That's where you are looking for a face-to-face meeting. And another thing I must make a point here very, very clearly. Pitch.Link is not for cold outreach.
Right.
Pitch.Link is for interacting with warm leads with whom you cannot get a face-to-face. So have this very clear. This warm leads has come to you after you spend hundreds of dollars. You have
Right.
run some campaign, you have got nurtured him, you have given him lead magnets, he has attended a webinar. Now you have to go face to face to sell to him, and he's not willing to meet you. I told you, 83% of the time they're not going to meet you. That
Right.
is the truth. You will have to make 106 calls to get that meeting. That's the truth. So it holds off your interaction with that customer for weeks. For weeks, right? How many times has it happened that somebody has given you an appointment and the last moment he has said, you know what, Udit, I'm very sorry, I have got something which has come up, because you're not his priority,
Yeah, definitely, definitely. That
right?
happens every day, actually.
Right? So what you can do instead, you build a pitch link. The pitch link, this pitch link, which has 11 elements, it looks a lot, but this will take you about 12 minutes to go through. Literally, we time
Right.
it, and you can put it in the mail. You actually, when I show you the pitch making interface, I'll show you that you can actually input you have to do it manually though. You have to put it that it will
Right.
take you 12 minutes, and in the mail that you get, it will say that this pitch has 11 elements. It will take you 12 minutes to watch, which means the
Right.
recipient can make up his mind, okay, I need 15 minutes for this, I don't have that 15 minutes now, I'll
Right.
not do it now.
Right. I have
Right.
one more interesting question for you, Mr. Subhanjan. So
Hmm.
let's say that after reading all these slides and going through all these comments and stuff, the user actually wants to schedule a meeting with me, right?
Yeah.
So do you think is there a possibility where, let's say, on the final slide, we can potentially put a CTA and maybe implement, let's say, Calendly, right? Where people can just come in and schedule the meeting in the last slide, because that's what you want your CTA to end, right? Because many a times, what we really want to do is we don't want to just sell on the pitch and the pitch that we are selling and we are sending, but the fact that we now want to try and get them on the call, or make sure that ask for the purchase link to buy or the order form to fill in. But what we have seen in some of the times is people do actually want to jump on the call after seeing all the presentation on Pitch.Link, going through everything. Now they're like, "Man, I've been missing on so many good things with not working with this company." So in such a case, do you see there is a possibility that we can do that?
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, the answer is yes. Not only that, I'll show you something right here. So this panel on top is the pitch link panel. So this is a pitch I have sent, right? So it's a pitch link panel. If they click on my logo, they can see my entire company data and entering
Ah, that's
entire
actually
company.
beautiful.
Okay. So and you can customize this. You can put your own header just like you do in LinkedIn. It's nothing new, but it's available right
Right,
here always. Okay.
right.
And then not only that, you click on the salesperson's card and you see it
Hmm.
here. You can
Ah,
actually
that's
see his phone
beautiful.
number, his email, his LinkedIn profile, and I can add a Calendly right here, right?
Yeah, that would be perfect, and that would be beautiful actually.
Which means you don't even have to keep track of what is that fellow, is he sent me that pitch link, where do I find his number, where is his card, nothing, just come and
Right.
click here.
Yeah, that's actually very handy, because like I said, most of the time what happens is people do want to see the pitch, and then they're finally like, let's get on a call, because if
Yeah,
someone is seeing these pitches and they're scheduling a meeting, and if you don't close them, you're a really bad salesperson
yeah,
at that point of stage. You just need to work on your closing skills at that point of stage. But
absolutely,
overall,
absolutely.
but overall, like I think what I've really learned about one of the aspects about pitching is the fact that it does that 80%, 83% of your job, and make it easy, especially if you're a small team looking to close in more customers. If you're an agency who's trying to close in a $10,000 a year customer, $5,000 a year customer, $15,000 a year customer, and you're just a small team, it's actually a great product to really stand out in the market. And remember, today it's all about standing out in the market. The more you stand out, the more you look different, the more you would close. I do remember the first time when I used a tool that we previously launched, Market Planario, when I built out the funnel for the first time and showed it to one of the prospect. He was like, "What is this? I've never seen something like this." The visualization of the marketing plan was so very clear with that specific person that it was absolute brilliant. They signed up with me right away. I wish, and by the way, back in, I think it was 2, 3 years, 3 or 4 years ago, I actually had to go a lot of back and forth, where I was sharing the PDF, this and that. Then there were changes that were coming in. There were lots of interaction. And during the entire process, things were so lost and so disorganized. So I think that's exactly where, if I wish we had Pitch.Link back in those days, things would be so much more organized. And potentially then I could have also embedded my marketing plan right inside the Pitch.Link itself, making it a no-brainer for them to really understand all the process and how things are right away, everything right then and there, and then potentially taking it forward, and making sure that we reduce the amount of time for closure. And that's something that internally, when we are using Pitch.Link, we have seen that reduction of the closure time because people are experiencing something new, and the interaction is so very quick. And remember, we live in the modern world today where people know what is Zoom today. If it was pre-COVID era and you talk about scheduling an online meeting with them, most of the people would be like, "What? I've not seen something like this, right?" And they would usually skip. But now people are aware of what is online meetings, what is online booking. They know all these things. So having an opportunity to close during this time with such an improved workflow of yours can make a huge difference. And again, if you don't believe us, go give it a try. Just sign up for Pitch.Link and send out your first pitch deck to your lead. And trust me, you would see the experience that they would be sharing. And at the same time, the kind of experience that they would be sharing, your closures are going to be a lot faster. And that's very important. There's no point in stretching a lead and close them over a period of what, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, when you can try and close them in months of time or even less time so that you can focus on acquiring more leads because that's the only way you can have real growth. Am I right, Mr. Subhanjan?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
So these things are very, very important. So someone is asking, they're asking to drop us a link. So you can simply head to pitchground.com. It will directly take you to the platform, to the sales page where you can grab your license. Remember, Pitch.Link is only available for the next 7 days on a lifetime deal. After that, it's going out forever. It's never coming back on a lifetime deal, by the way. And when we say that, when the timer gets on the website, it's a real timer. So once it's gone, it's gone. And it's a matter of you closing one sales, right? Take up a challenge. Go out there, sign up, and try to close one deal. I'm telling you, it will pay off for your money's worth right itself, because on an average, an agency's average order size when they close a client is a minimum of $5,000. If you're closing any customer that's paying you less than $5,000, then the quality of leads that you're generating is quite low. So that's the bare minimum that an agency customer gets paid for a single customer that they close. And this is something that you can do and share a brand new experience with them. Mr. Swinton, I do have one more question for you. Do you
Sure.
think there's a possibility of potentially integrating some of the most popular proposal tools out there in the market inside
Yeah.
PitchLink, so
Yeah,
that
actually,
so that there'll be
actually, we just
possibility?
started rolling out our integrations. We are
Oh,
working
that's brilliant.
very aggressively on that. So the first thing we
Mhm.
actually it will be available in the next few days is integration with Zoho CRMs. We are starting with the CRMs, but we'll take in requests. And the only reason we did not start doing the integrations were because you know typically if I wanted to do CRM, I would have gone and done Salesforce, right? That's the no brainer. But when we did a survey, the SMB, MSME, which is our target, the agencies, they are not using Salesforce. They're using Pipedrive, they're using Zoho, they're using all kinds of other HubSpot, etc. Right? So we are going to integrate lots of tools over the next 5-6 months. You will see lots and lots of tools getting integrated, either through Zapier or through other native integration, like Zoho is a native integration. You will see that. Yes. So proposal softwares, yes, we'll integrate.
Brilliant. So we have one more question coming in from Nigel. He's asking more about the product. So Mr. Subramanian, let's dive right into the product. Show rest of the slides very quickly before
Yeah.
we start taking up more questions. And there are more questions coming up. And before we start talking further and start discussing things further about
So I'll just
sales.
quickly go over the buyer's interface. So the buyer can interact with the seller from this panel on the top, and the bottom panel is the buyer's. So if I want to share it with someone, I just write the name and address, and already the mail that has come is here, and I just send it, and they get added to my team over here. So this is one more team member. If I click it, I can see who it is. I can also see the analytics of the engagement of the two people who are already on the. So this is my buyer side analytics, right? So there is no permission required here because I'm seeing my own team. And believe me, this is a huge issue. This is a huge issue because buyers, when they're sharing collaterals of vendors with their stakeholders, they have no visibility who has seen what. It's only based on what people are telling. And if you're trying to negotiate between 3 or 4 vendors at one point of time, just imagine the complexity of trying to monitor whether each one of the 7 people part of the buyer side stakeholders have actually seen all the 12 collaterals that each of the vendors have shared. Here it's crystal clear, you can see it anytime. Not only that, if you click on this mail, the first mail that has come, it will be visible here. So you never have to go back to the mail. Once you have clicked the link and come into Pitch.Link, you don't have to go back anywhere. I can click on this and start a chat. This is my team, and this is the company which sent it to me. So I can start a chat about the pitch. This is not about any of the elements, but it is about the actual pitch, the overall proposition. I can start. So you can see it is like underlined on pitch, and these are on elements. So on elements are all the files that are there. So you can discuss about them. And if you click on this, you can start discussing about the collaterals which are there as additional. So these are organized in folders. So this is the background info folder. There is a film there. And if I go into webinars, so these are actually YouTube links. I can actually stack links. These are links from YouTube of various webinars that we had done with PitchGround. So these are resources, and this is the folders. And this is again chatting with my team. I can do exactly the same thing by clicking on the sellers panel. I can now chatting with Future Symbiotic Inc. It's exactly the same thing, but it is separate access, so no chance of getting mixed up. So this is basically the buyer's interface. The buyer has some more controls. He can opt out. He can, moderate the notifications he's getting. He can actually say not interested and give some logic. So many times people keep carrying leads as opportunities when they're never going to close. So the B2B closure rate, according to Forrester, is 1.8%, but I think we can take it on 5%. So 95% of the leads that you will get and you're going to follow will not close. So we give an opportunity for a buyer to tell you directly that I'm not interested. And that saves time for you, saves botheration for the buyer, which is very good because you can go back to them later. It's all here, right? And here, of course, you can exit or go to your buyer's dashboard. So buyer has his own dashboard, and in that dashboard, if he goes, he can see all the pitches he has got. Buyer doesn't need an account, but the buyer can go to his dashboard and see all the pitches he has received. So these are the pitches. They've sent 9 pitches, and if you click on that, all the pitches are available here. So if there are multiple companies who have sent me pitches, I can see all the companies stacked here, and I click on each one of them, and I can see all the pitches that they've sent me, right? So that is the buyer side experience. This is the seller side thing. Let us start with the dashboard. When you log into your account, which is, by the way, a subdomain that you had have booked while you signed up, ours is pitchcloud.pitch.link. This is my...
Mr. Subhanjan, a quick question for you over here.
Yeah.
How much time on an average a person would spend to set up one pitch link?
Sorry, come again?
how much time on an average a person would spend to set up one pitch link?
That's a very good question, and I have to give you a little elaborate answer. See, typically today we expect the salespeople to uh, to build their pitches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, no, salespeople are not English majors. They are not language specialists. They are not communication specialists. They are good human to human interaction people, right?
Right,
They don't write scripts. If we
right,
expect them to, that's why scripts is such a big thing. Every telecaller, every
right,
inside person is given a script.
right.
So if, and I'll show it to you in a moment, if the marketing department builds the pitch that, okay, I have to pitch to agencies and this is my product, this will be the flow, like the flow I showed you, those 11 elements, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that pitch is ready and I need to send the same pitch but personalize it for 5 different people,
Mm-hmm.
that bit of duplicating a pitch and personalizing literally takes less than 5 minutes. The
That's
initial pitch,
brilliant.
when you're actually planning it, so that's the company level thing, right? The head of sales is sitting and saying, okay, this has to be sold, we are going to sell this new machine or the new software, this is the kind of we are going to sell it to the airlines industry or the hospitality industry or the mining industry. This is how our narrative should move. From my experience, this is how we should open, this is what we should show, so on and so forth. Even the planning you can do, there's a separate tool in Pitch.Link called pitch maps, and I'll show it to you in a moment. Even before you have the collaterals, you can build a pitch map.
I have
It's
a
like,
quick. I have one more follow-up question for you on this.
yeah.
Do you think it will be a good idea to create some sort of like default templates for various industries, so to set some sort of like a basic guidelines for them? Because usually what happens with a lot of people is that they are not really trained to understand what it says, right? Once courses out there to learn Facebook ads, Google ads, and all those like SEO and all those things today, right? But sales is a completely different animal altogether. And sales is very different and is exactly opposite of marketing. And sometimes what happens is when we talk about scripts, right? Most people don't really understand and have never prepared any sort of a step-by-step script, right? So, for example, in the first call, we will do this. In the second call, we will do this. In the third call, we will do this. This will be a first step. This will be a second step. So, a script basically can be an entire process, not just a written piece of text, right? So if we take a step back, and if we start writing down, or if we start making some of the default guidelines or some default templates inside PitchLink, not right now, but maybe down the road, if we can provide to people. So let's say that if we are getting a lot of agencies to sign up, and we see that the agencies are demanding for a lot of doctor-related templates, right? How to pitch to a doctor. I want to start closing them, but I'm not a good salesperson, right? I want to learn. I'm ready to learn, but I'm not good with it. Do you think this is where maybe PitchLink can potentially come into picture? The team of PitchLink can come into picture and maybe sort of start releasing some sort of good guideline templates where they can simply select that the entire PitchLink would be right given to them on a piece of platter, and then if they want to change their logos or all those basic things, that could potentially work out better. What do you think about
Yeah.
something like this?
Yeah. So I completely agree. So no difference of opinion at all. Okay. That's number one. Number two, when you sign up, you already have some pitch map templates already available. They are not as specific as you just said that agency is selling to doctors, right? It's not as specific as that, but they are good starting points for anybody to start work. That's point number one. Point number two, one of the things we encourage and expect is that the moment somebody signs up, they will immediately from the dashboard use this book one-on-one demo. Okay, this will take you to my Calendly page and you will get a 30-minute session. Please use it. It's free. 70-80% of the people don't use it, but we strongly recommend that you use it. I have
Guys,
slots
this alone
available.
is, trust me, worth hundreds of dollars, because if you ever want to get training or get on a call with a consultant for sales, trust me, they would charge you nothing less than 500 to $1,000 an hour. And I'm not kidding. And if he's giving you an option to dive into and just get on a call, on a sales call for free, that too for 30 minutes, you shouldn't even think once or twice or thrice. You should actually jump on a call with him, because, like I said, um, I've been interacting with Mr. Subhanjan for the last 8, 9 months, I would say. And there have
Absolutely.
been such a great learning experience from him. Every time I meet him, every time I speak with him, there's always something new that I learn from him. There's so much experience that he has, that is something that all of us can really get the best out of him. And trust me, sales is something that is not difficult. If you learn the art of selling, then at that point of time, nothing can stop you from making money. So this is why, if it's giving you an opportunity to book a call, do not wait. Go sign up and then just book a call with him. Trust me, that 30 minutes could potentially change your life, because the kind of ideas and strategies that he can give you in terms of implementing in your sales strategies, because you could have that one missing element in your sales process, which is potentially why your closure rates are not that good, right? Or if it's already good, why not focus on improving it? So I would highly recommend that, even if you're not buying the product, at least get on a call with him, so that you can learn from him about some of the sales strategies. And after that, if you actually enjoy using the product, again, I would highly recommend jumping and grabbing the lifetime deal again, like I said, because it's only available for 7 days. But before even buying that, go and sign up for a trial. Send your first pitch link, right? Take up a challenge for yourself that in next 7 days, I have to close 2 customers. I have several leads that's lingering around in my email. Let's close them. Give yourself the challenge and close those leads, because if you don't close them, remember, there's another agency that's waiting to close them. So if you're not going to
Absolutely.
close them, that lead is going somewhere else. So it's on to you. And if you do not show that laziness and just focus towards working on it, I'm definitely sure that you would start closing better. And again, try it out, give it a try. Don't jump on board and buy right away. I never recommend that either. Send out your first pitching and just see the experiences, right? Go ahead and see the list of leads that you have in your pipeline, and just start sending them emails with PitchLink. And I can guarantee you that you and your closures would increase, and you would definitely make your team very happy by closing more deals. So that's something that's very important. So, Mr. Subhajan, back to you.
Yeah. The point, the reason I pointed it out to the attendees is that I'm very happy to sit with you. I mean, you actually told on my behalf. I'm very happy to sit with you and ideate what should be your pitch map or the pitch flow with your given collateral. So if you sign up, upload your existing collaterals, have a note ready that these are the kind of customers we are going for. I'm very happy to actually handhold you and actually help you craft your flow, and then I'm sure you'll be fine. You'll be on your own. So this is my dashboard. It shows me some stats. It gives me some opportunity to see some of the, this is the top three top three pitches. These are all the interactions that are going on the various pitches I've sent out. So this is a new comment from one of the persons, Fred Kopstek, whom I had sent a pitch, and he has commented 6 hours ago. If I click on it, I can see I can see
Hello,
his
Fred.
I can see
Thank you
his
for coming on Bits About
yeah.
Books and for checking out Pitch.Link.
So he was a
For
guest
similar
on
engagement.
my podcast, Bits About Books. So if you guys are interested in meeting authors, do check it out. It's available on iTunes and Google Podcast and all that. So I can literally click any of these and I can get into the conversations right from here. So I don't have to search. I don't have to go anywhere. I can see it right here. These are the conversations going
Hello,
on
Bruce.
with various people.
Thank you.
So that is the use of this. This, if I click on, this is where all my content is. As you can see, folders, files, links, forms. I can create those forms that I showed you in the buyer's pitch. I can show the forms. I can create mail drafts, pitch maps, scripts for recording audio, video, testimonials. I can send out testimonial requests to my customers. And discovery is our Chrome extension, which you can get, and it can be used the same login credentials here, so it gets linked to your Pitch.Link account. So essentially, you can do your research and you can save all the material right here in Discovery, right? This is where you come and you create you upload or you create your content, right? So I'll just show you how you do that. So this is what you get when you just come in. So you can import your files from the various cloud drives that you have. You can upload a file. You can just drag and drop here, and it'll upload. And I can also create files. So I can create video, audio, text files. So for example, if I say video, it'll choose optimized resolution. I can select a script. These are part of my scripts. This is my actual. So this is the script I want to record. I hit start recording. You just have to remember that my camera is on a different monitor, so I'm looking at this monitor from the side. And this is the beauty. This is an inbuilt teleprompter here. I can write the script. I like the speed a little low. I can just hit record. Hello, Fred. Thank you for your time for bits about books and checking out Pitch.Link, our buyer-seller engagement platform. Hit record. Hello, Fred. Thank you for your time for bits about books and checking out Pitch.Link, our buyer-seller engagement platform. Hit record. And as you can see, there is a retake button, which means I can do as many takes as I want. I can retake. Hello, Fred. Thank you for your time. This is the second take just to show how it works. Hello, Fred. Thank you for your time. This is the second take just to show how. So I just stopped it, right? So basically, I can do as many takes as I want, and I can save. I can hit save, and I can close it. So I can record very easily any number of introductions, conclusions, bridges right from here. So I'll get out. I can also save the script. I can make change. So suppose this is from Fred. I want to make it for Udit, and I can change some of it. I just change it, and I can save it as a demo. That's it. Saved. So that's how you can create audio, video, and text files over here, and you upload, and all your files are available here. And as you can see, it is pretty neat, because the moment you click, you can see you can actually preview the file. You can replace it. You can download it. You can see all the metadata that is there. I mean, I personally feel it's much more beautiful than any of the content management cloud drives that are out there. Okay, this is all done. I think we wanted to go to pitch maps. So this is what I was telling you about. Pitch maps are where you ideate a flow without really worrying about collaterals, right? So if I click on this, I can enter details here. I can put a name. It's a demo map. Sorry about my typos. So I say, okay, first I'll say this will be an introduction video, and I can write the script here. Hello, friends. This is your intro. So I'm basically, what I'm doing is whatever is in my mind as a part of the flow, it's sort of like a mind map. I'm just writing it here and I'm saying done. Then I say add new step. I say here use PPT for the market situation. Okay. So then I add a new step, record intro to demo. So I'll write the script. As you can see, there are a lot of friction in the buyer's journey, and this is how Pitch.Link can solve them. Coming up, a demo. So you'll see in a moment why I'm writing this. This is done. Add new step. Use demo film. Conclude the presentation with a call to action. Clear idea. Oh my God. What we do is fill up the survey and call us need. So basically I can structure the whole thing. It's right here. I've written everything. It's a demo map, demo for pitch ground. I say save pitch map. And you have the pitch map here. Okay. So when I go to pitches, where all my pitches are saved, there are two ways of making pitches. So one of the questions that Gudit asked a moment back is how fast can you create a pitch? So imagine that I have this pitch map, pitch which I used, and I showed it as a demo of Pitch.Link overview for friends of pitch ground. I can just say duplicate. And I can get this. It's a duplicate. I edit. I change the name. New demo. I put a description. This is not to be seen by anyone. Sorry about that, guys. I say next. The entire pitch is right here. Okay, whatever we had seen, the 11 elements, I can dump this. I can hit context bridge. I can say video. I can select a new script. Demo for Udit. And I can start recording exactly the same way I had shown you how to record it from the content creation space. I can hit it. I can say we have simplified the communication conversation piece in the B2B buying, selling, transaction process, and so on. I can say we have simplified the. So you get an immediate playback. I can do multiple takes. For a moment, just assume I'm going to save this. Let's just save. Sorry, intro. Keep the same. Save. So now it's getting processed. It'll take a few minutes, but the new thing has come and sat right here. So that's it. I change the conclusion in the same way. I choose a new script, or I can use the same script and make some changes. For example, if I do that, I hit video. Already the existing script, which is against there, it's there here. I can knock off something and I can hit record. Same story. In a minute, I can be done, and this will be ready to go. I go next. That's where you remember those two folders I showed you, background and pitch ground, where all the links were. These are the links I just pulled and dragged and pulled over here. So for example, I can create a new folder, add, choose that, go to videos. I want this intro for SaaS talk, and I go to spreadsheets, master call sheet. These are basically additional information which is not appearing in your pitch, but will nevertheless help you share enough data, enough inputs for the buyer to go through and make up his mind. And remember, against each of these, you can have separate conversations going individually. Each of the elements on the pitch, as well as whatever is there in the resource section. These are all going to appear in the resource section. As you can see, add resources, I've got 3 folders. Now I may think that this background one I don't want. I can delete it. It's gone. So this new pitch, I just have this 2. Okay, next. I have this form. These are forms I've already created. If you remember in files, I had the option to create forms. So I can pre-create forms in advance. So I have these 5 forms. I can just say add form, and I can create a form right here, a new form over here. It's pretty simple, nothing new. I want to switch it to a quick feedback form, and this has 3 questions. I add that, done. This is where I enter the time. It's still the 11 elements, so I still think it will take about 12 minutes. I hit there and I say finish and save. Pitch.Link overview for new demo. This is the pitch. This is that truncated video I recorded. I can say we have simplified the communication conversation piece in the B2B buying, selling, transaction process. I can actually go and preview the pitch. Shows me the entire flow. I can say we have simplified the communication, etc. I can look at the resources. As you can see, there are 2 folders now, pitch ground, webinar, and new demo. I had pulled 1 video and 1 spreadsheet. I'm happy. I'm done. I'm already ready. I hit send to prospect. I want to send it to Udit. Done. I choose another draft from my mail. I'll say experiment. The simple line. I can set expiry date. So if I don't want somebody to see it after 7 days, or I want them to come back to me and ask, hey, you send me something, I couldn't see it, can I see it now? Again, shows indication of interest. I can do that. Typically, the sharing further, which I showed you in the buyer's interface from his panel, it is on by default. But if you think that, no, I'm sending it to a guy, I don't want him to share it, you can just put it off and hit send pitch, and you're done. Udit, that's it for now.
Awesome, that's brilliant. So Nigel is saying he just grabbed the license and he's really happy after seeing all of these
Hey,
things.
Nigel.
I'm thrilled, Nigel, that you have actually taken action. And I hope others who are watching this webinar or who's going to be watching this replay take action, not by just buying, but actually sending pitches and closing so that you are going to have a very good night. And the more you close, the better sleep you're going to have every single night. So sales is
Absolutely.
very, very important and it's very critical for any company to grow. While marketing is great, marketing can help you in the long term. It can help you get inbound inquiries, but it will not help you to sell. Selling is a completely different process. And if you do not focus on sales, you're not going to sell, period. You're not going to sell anything, period. You have to focus on sales. And especially, I know most of the users of PitchGround or at PitchGround are running an agency or working at an agency. And we know that majority of the time you're trying to close a minimum customer is going to pay you $5,000 annually. There's a bare minimum that you look for. In that case, try to up and try to look for newer leads who's potentially going to pay you 20,000, $30,000. And when you incorporate such a strategy, they know that you know your game, right? Because they can feel something premium. And when you give them a premium experience, they buy premium, right? So a good example would be that if you're going to enter a showroom and if you're going to ask your customer whether they're interested in Mercedes at all, right? You're going to end up showing them a Maruti or a Suzuki or maybe a low end Honda or Toyota or maybe a low end Toyota, right? Unless and until you ask them and give them the premium experience, show them Mercedes, give them the experience of Mercedes, and then let them drive a $3,000, $4,000 car. They would be thinking twice which one to buy after that. And even if they don't have the money, they would actually try to see if they can arrange money, right? Or they would try to get a better car. So that's the same thing that applies with any of the agencies that unless and until you make them experience and make them go through a premium experience, you're not going to sell better. And the goal should always be to improve your workflow. So with that, we're just going to take a couple of other questions. So Nigel is asking whether there's going to be replay. Nigel, yes, there's going to be replay right away on our YouTube channel. So as soon as we end this live session, the video would be available right away. Maybe it might take 15, 20 minutes for YouTube to really process the video, but it will be available for you. Next question coming in is from yes Wilson. Wilson is saying he loves pitchround deals. Awesome. There's one more person who is asking for the link. Guys, just head to pitchround.com and you would see the pitch link directly over there. And you can sign up directly over there. Guys, meanwhile, if you have a couple of other questions, please do ask us. We know that we have gone beyond our time, so we're gonna try to wrap it up ASAP. But again, if you have any other questions around sales, do that. And once again, go and sign up for PitchLink and send your first pitch link for free. Close, right? Even if you don't buy, at least go and sell with couple of free pitch links, right? Just go out there and experience how good it can be when you change your workflow to something better and when you start making people show Mercedes and BMWs, only then they would buy BMWs and Mercedes. If you're not going to show them those cars, people are not going to buy those cars. People are not just going to jump in and say, hey, show me a BMW, right? They're never going to do that because user would always look for the best of the value. So it's your duty to show that value to those users and tell them that this value actually exists. That's equally important. And that's something that you can do with PitchLink is something that you can brag out in each and every step about the journey and focus on making that 83% closure that Mr. Subhanjan was earlier talking about, because those statistics that he has is not the number that he's throwing up. They're all well-researched numbers, right? I could have thrown 90%, but if I cannot claim that 90% without backing up my data, it's useless. It's weight, right? So any data that he's sharing or I'm sharing, it comes backed up with data and a lot of testing that has been done and gone behind. There's one question coming in, Mr. Subhanjan. When are you planning to integrate one-page CRM? It's a good CRM, and are you planning to integrate that at all by any chance?
See, again, the way our integration policy will be basically is that the moment we get a bunch of people asking for a particular one, we will do it. Okay, but eventually, I think we are trying to work out a scenario where most CRMs that people are using will be integrated. I cannot say today that is one page CRM on our roadmap or not, simply because we are not making a list as per our choice. We are making the list as per our users' choice. One page CRM, I'm not sure whether we have got other requests or not. I can check it and tell. Just write to me at support at pitch.link, support@pitch.link. Please write to me. I'll give you a feedback. And our turnaround of response is pretty good.
Awesome, brilliant. Let me see if there are any questions because sometimes the tool sort of misses out the question. So I'm just gonna keep a check on that.
Sure.
Meanwhile, Mr. Subhanjan, while I look for this couple of questions, if you can share like one of the worst experiences you ever had selling.
Selling.
Yeah, that because that's something that usually is not spoken about, right? We always see like, oh, it's the best one, but sometimes we know that it can get very frustrating. So, do you remember any of these experiences that comes off your back right away? Like, yeah, this was the worst selling experience for me.
Yeah, so I will tell you, there is a little. I mean, I know it will sound a little. It will sound like a story, but it's true that I'm not a career salesman. Okay, and I'm not saying that with any. I'm more a product guy. I imagine
Right.
stuff when I look at issues, and I whatever selling I do is by default. I mean, uh, okay, like now. I mean, if I'm presenting, it's because I'm possibly in my team the best person to do it. But am I the best person in the world to sell Pitch.Link? Possibly not. Okay, that's the honest truth. So because of that, I think my approach to sales has been uh, slightly different because I'm not carrying any baggage of a salesperson. I am not conforming to any notion. Oh, this is how a salesperson should behave. My approach has always been, if a deal has failed, means I have not got the deal. My objective is to always maintain relationship with that person and go back and ask why he didn't give me that deal. I have lost hundreds of deals. I've never lost a friend. And I really mean it. Some of those guys who never bought from me then are one of some of my best friends, have bought literally millions of rupees worth of products for me later. So the point I'm trying to make is, there has been very disappointing scenarios, but my objective always had been, what can I learn from this? The disappointment is natural. It's like you're going for a game and you lose the game. I mean, you didn't go into the game to lose the game, right? You didn't join a race to lose the race. I mean, but you know that if you're an Olympics and 30 people are running, 3 people will win, rest will lose. It's nothing can change that. But you're not starting the run to lose, right? You are wanting to be one of the three. So I know I'm giving you a sort of longish answer, but the point I'm making is, uh, barring a few where people behave badly for no reason, those, and I remember those because somehow I think when you're hurt, you remember, right? That somebody disrespected you. See, Udit, I and you can have hundreds of difference of opinion. That will never make me disrespect you.
No,
But if I,
definitely, definitely,
right? But if I talk to you badly,
definitely.
but if I talk to you badly, even if I'm right, you will remember, oh, Shubhanjan spoke badly. He hurt me. I really don't want to deal with him. It doesn't matter. Even if he gives me, $1 million business, I'm not going to deal with him. So my objective had always been, let me go back. And that's why my relationships, I've never walked out from a deal disappointed, yes, but not with the idea that this fellow is my enemy, he didn't buy from me. I made more friends from failed deals than otherwise. I know this was not the answer you were expecting, but that's
No,
what comes
no,
to mind.
definitely. It's not about what I expect, but it's always about learning, and that's why I brought it up because it's always the new experiences that you always learn from someone who's been in the industry for so long. because that's the way I feel, like that's the best way of learning is if by observing other people in the industry and people who have been around for longer than you in the industry. That's the best form of learning. You would not find a better learning than in the book or by reading anything, any of the blogs, having that direct one-to-one interaction and just asking them like this unorthodox, weird questions and then getting equally weird answers gets the best experiences because that's when you learn and when you start sharing those learning with other people who are in the webinar, I think there is so much other people can take out from it. And even if they can get 1 or 2% value out of this entire session, right? That I would say like this webinar has been a huge success because that has been
Yeah.
the goal is to change the mindset, is to change the thought process that yes, you can do it. Yes, you can make a sale. All you got to do is just make some efforts, change your habits, change your attitude towards everything that you're doing, and just change your workflow and be open to experimenting new things. Just don't stick around and stay over there. As long as you're doing that, I think then you are your only limit. There's no other limit that you have, right? You are your only bottleneck. So that's something that's always incredible. So with that, we are going to be wrapping up this webinar. We appreciate everyone who has been around for almost 2 hours now. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. I hope you guys found this session very, very valuable. We're going to be coming back once again on 31st, which is on Monday around the same time, which is 9:30 a.m. PST. So we'll be coming back and we'll be dropping some crazy, crazy brand new strategy with you guys, which is something that we call one to many to one strategy. And that strategy is going to blow away your mind because that strategy is something that you can implement today in masses because that's another problem that we have identified that a lot of you guys have. And we'll make you go through that experience so that you can make your leads go through the same experience and get the best sales out of it. So with that, guys, we'll be coming back on Monday with our very final webinar. Meanwhile, if you are looking to grab Pitch.Link, it's available on PitchGround today for the next 7 days. Do not miss out on this opportunity. And trust me, even if you miss out, it's okay because just go and buy the monthly plans directly from them after that, right? We're trying to save you money, but if you are okay like spending more, I think Mr. Subhanjan will actually love you even more. So with that, we'll be wrapping up, guys. Thank you so much for joining in, and everyone have a great one. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good day, guys. Good night.